When people think about comedy, they often think about the laughs. But behind every joke, there is countless hours of work and a community of people dedicated to making you laugh. As a comedian in Calgary, I've been part of the comedy scene for years now. I performed on stages across the city and beyond. From improv to sketch comedy and stand-up, we take a look at the people who make Calgary laugh. Comedy in Calgary on this episode of Living a Creative Life. My name is Adora Nwofor, but I'm also statuesque. I've been doing comedy in Calgary for almost 20 years. And this episode, we're gonna take a look at some of my experiences, some of your opinions, and what makes Calgary laugh.
We're not only in Calgary, we're in the Laugh Shop,
Yes.
which in my opinion, I think is the best comedy club in Canada. So I think we're very lucky to have it here. Great scene, I'm happy to be here. We're from Edmonton, it's not far, easy drive up, fantastic. Like even tonight, it was a Wednesday, sold out show, 300 people, pro-am night. What more can you ask for?
I think that comedy in Calgary is so special because of the fact that regardless of whatever walk of life you come from, Calgary will give you the opportunity to say your piece. And if you're funny, they will let you keep on saying it. All this rhetoric of times have changed and you can't say things anymore. If you are truly funny, a Calgary audience will listen to anything you have to say, regardless of your perspective. What is special about comedy in Calgary? It's the way that the people respond to the comedians. It's the love and admiration that they have for their own, while confused that their own, while crushing, aren't bigger stars. And so Calgary's crowd tonight on a Wednesday, sold out. They're here for real comedy, and that real comedy was us. And that's what Calgary means to me.
To see somebody from somewhere else. We here in Canada have talent just like me, and Laugh Shop is the reason why you got to see it. So please keep supporting Laugh Shop.
One thing I need to know before a first date is if there's a budget. If it's under $50 and you spring it on me, that's a deal breaker. I'm 6'1", I need to be adequately fed. Let me know you're cheap so I can pack a snack. James, you've been doing comedy a long time, but Calgary has been honored to be part of Comedy Monday Night, which is where I would do open mic comedy. And it went on for 20 years. And I said, I'm going to go back and do stuff in comedy. And that wasn't there. But now you're here at the Laugh Shop. And tell me a little bit about what you're doing that's new in Calgary comedy.
Well, first let me take a step back to where you started, which is, yeah, it was a lot of fun and it was 20 years. And sometimes, you know, I'm not getting any younger, dear. And sometimes when it's over, it's got to be over.
Yeah.
Good fortune to be, you know, still finger on the pulse involved in the Laugh Shop. It's a great club, and they actually are providing program to develop talent, right? And that's one of the things that, like, again, not a lot of the other clubs are doing.
So my name's Jake, and until my comedy career takes off, I'm an engineer.
I think that the workshops that they do here at the Laugh Shop has really been notable for me, because you show up as, you know, a young comic that really doesn't know anything or anybody, and you're sharing air with top comedians, and they're answering your questions, and they're stoked that you're into it, and I wasn't expecting that. If you're hilarious, then that's going to make me more hilarious, and if the crowd laughs more, then it's like a wellspring of infinity. You know, you can just create more.
I mean, the workshops here are fantastic. It's great to get to see the headline comics come in and answer the questions. You know, usually you get a dozen local comics that have a range of questions, everything from nerves to working on material and how to stitch together an act. And touring, holding the mic, everything you can think of. There's a lot of smaller clubs in the city that all the comics try to hit. It probably would, I think, and they're trying to bring in open mics.
When did you start open mic comedy? Because literally that's what it's called, open mic comedy.
Yes. So I have been doing stand-up for a long time, and I actually, before I started stand-up, I was an event producer. So I had a show called Third Culture Comedy that was like more booked and the ticket prices were higher, and it was causing me a little bit of anxiety. And so I decided I wanted to start an open mic, and it's just an open mic, and it's called that to remind me and all the other performers that it's like low stakes. We don't have to feel anxious. We're just trying new jokes. Nothing can go that wrong. So it's really just a place to try to encourage people to try stand-up. I know for me, like, I've been a performer since I was really young, so stand-up wasn't super intimidating for me. But for people who don't have a performance background, like, they're so scared sometimes, and I definitely understand that. Public speaking, when you're not used to it and you don't have training, it's really difficult. But that's just part of the mantra of why, like, it's just an open mic. I promise you're not gonna die.
Not gonna
It's not that big a deal.
Tell me why it's important to have like open mics in comedy.
Well, comedy, you gotta get comfortable in it. It takes so long to reconcile the person you want to be on stage with the person you are, and reconciling all these things inside yourself. You gotta be able to hammer it out over the course of thousands of iterations. And so it's important to have these open mics, I think.
I started doing performing comedy about 2 years ago, but I had been a comedy fan for like 7-8 years. And I used to go to open mics, and that's how I was like watching other guys do it, and I was like, I can do better than that, and got on.
No, actually Venezuela just had two major earthquakes, and about 50,000 people are missing. And that's very sad, because I wish those 50,000 people were missing from Stampede.
If anything, I find that's the hardest part of comedy for me. Those 3 jokes I first told, I had been thinking about for years. Those 3 jokes. So to me, writing jokes and thinking of the jokes, to me that's like, oh, I can come up with that. But then performing it is such a vulnerable moment. And I'm not a performer. Once you see comedians, you can see people who are more improvisers and have more of that body language. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna tell jokes.
We are couch surfing!
Okay, I need from you a smell that makes you feel at home. You smell and it's like, bread. Bread. I love the smell of freshly baked bread.
Improv is really, when it's really happening, it's when the performers are surprising themselves as well as the audience. Improv is the only art form in which that can really kind of happen, whether it's musical improvisation, theatrical improvisation like we do, or any other sort of impromptu art form. It's at your best when you're not planning and you as the performer are genuinely surprised about what's happening on stage as much as the audience is.
I think the biggest thing that you can bring to improv is just a willingness to be there and to sit within whatever is happening to an extent, of course. Like if you're uncomfortable, like that's a really big tenet of improv, is to know the boundaries that your fellow players have and to know your fellow players and to respect those boundaries.
Can I ask you something, Tom? When was the last time you brushed your teeth? What are you trying to get at? Well, I'm on week 8, no brush, and I'm just kind of curious.
Anybody can do it. Just show up and open your mouth. That's literally it.
Don't take that as a soundbite.
I want the comedians to hear.
But like, take a drop-in class, see if you like it. If you do, keep taking drop-ins.
Yeah, it's a collaborative art form, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different than comedy as we typically understand it, because the entire premise of it is that you're working together and with people and you're building something beautiful all together.
So, you know, if you're always there trying to make your partner look good and they're trying to make you look good, you're always going to be successful. And the three big things that improv, the experience of practicing improv teaches you is how to be comfortable taking risks, living with uncertainty because you don't know how those risks are going to play out, and surviving and thriving through failure. You know, if we don't actually fail as improvisers from time to time, people don't know that we're making it up. It's a really important part of the process, and it's the only way that you learn. And so if for anyone that's experiencing, as we all do, anxiety from time to time or different things, the practice of improv teaches you to be present. So that's why I think everybody should try it at least once.
It's inherently human. I get to be anything or do anything on stage, and because it's in real time and you're seeing everyone directing and editing and playing all at the same time, you inherently see like this side of who we are as people and what we want to reflect about humanity to the rest of the group and to the audience, which is something that I don't think I've found anywhere else to that extent.
I'm a hugger, and usually I bring somebody up here to hug. Are you coming up here fast? Faster. Faster. Run. Kiss. Yeah. Hi. Oh, and you're perfect. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm gonna remember that for a whole 2 weeks.
I've been doing it for like 15 years now, and I've been thinking about why I do comedy. I don't know. At this point, I just do it because I've done it for so long. But should I keep doing it?
Valid.
Should I keep doing it?
Step 1, keep an open mind. Stop acting as if the era that you enjoyed, that is now gone, is the one that should be existent now. It's to embrace what is, not what was. It's to understand what is now, not what was. It's to understand who you are, not who you were.
Well, I mean, then there's an entire art form that's based on 2 turntables and a microphone. So it really doesn't take a lot to create comedy, right? You need a microphone, you need a stage, hell, a fucking milk crate, and you need people listening. So, you know, it's completely accessible because anybody can do it. And I think that's the best part. It's like soccer compared to hockey. All you need is a ball.
I feel like the comedy community in Calgary is actually very supportive. Sometimes community, especially in comedy, we are at shows where there's a limited amount of comedians that can get a stage time. And even though there's that competition, I think we still manage to be supportive and still want to like get more open mics and more people involved and more people into comedy. So I think in that sense, even though comedy can easily turn competitive, we still manage to stay united somehow.
Calgary's great. I like even the fact like we're doing this interview, but I'm trying to head to a second show. Like you have multiple shows a night. Great independent scene. Every time I come here, people are always they're working on stuff. There's people killing on every show. I don't know. As far as
Tonight was
developing,
fantastic.
yeah, like people you have top tier comics traveling, coming back, making it better. Like Calgary's a great city for comedy.